It's just like
I got
kind
one
of
for
like a
you.
light plot, like something that they're
Oh,
technically working towards, but like,
oh, I got one for you.
what,
CW's The Flash.
bruh. Okay,
Me and
no,
Kane
okay.
used to
Did
sit
you
on that
watch
show. I
Gravity?
actually,
Did you watch Dragon Ball? Or not Dragon Ball,
no,
not Dragon Ball.
I watched a little bit of
Gravity
it.
Falls, Gravity Falls.
No, I wasn't on that gay shit.
Okay.
Oh god,
It's pretty
for
good,
real.
I promise. But like in the early ones, it's literally like it's just kind of like SpongeBob, but like there's just a loose plot going on, you know?
All I know is they go to a summer camp and this shit gets wild. That's all I know.
No, it's not a summer camp. So like, they go to like their like weird. They call him their grunkle. It's their great uncle, right? He's kind of a trickster, kind of a con man, you
What is
know.
a great uncle?
You've never
A
heard of a
sly
great
devil?
uncle?
A sly devil?
No, you're like your parents' uncle. That's a great
I,
uncle.
bro, I ain't got none of those. They let's just say
Anyway,
they've all kicked
they
the
go to
bucket.
their grunkle stands, right? And like they just like is goofy, and then like this dude find the main character Dipper. He finds this like it's like this like goofy like
Tipper.
compartment in like a tree or something, and in said tree there's like a journal with all this like weird stuff. And then his sister,
Mm.
I'm just explaining the first episode. His sister like is trying to find like a summer
Oh,
romance,
I thought
right? They're
this. Oh, I
twins.
thought this was. I thought this was the entire plot of the show for a second. I was
No,
like,
no,
what
no.
the hell?
I mean, like the Grunkle thing kind of is, but I kind of devolved from that. Anyway, his sister is like looking for a summer romance, and she finds a guy, and like, Differ, he's like looking through the journal. He's like, Mabel, I think he's a zombie. That's the girl's name, Mabel.
Mm.
She's like, bro, I think she's a zombie. And he's a zombie, and she's like, bro, don't be so silly, you goober, you know. And eventually, it turns out he like kidnaps her and takes her into like the middle of
Sure.
the forest, and yeah.
And
So
they have babies.
you ever seen like it's like three little kids in a trench coat pretending to be like a adult, you know?
Oh yeah, I watched the Little
Yeah,
Rascals movie.
it was that, but it was just a bunch of gnomes.
Relight Jill Yang. Hey
It was just a
Carter, we
bunch
gotta
of
get out of
gnomes.
here.
Hold
Carter,
on.
get in. Carter,
Oh
get in.
yeah,
Carter,
yeah.
get in. We gotta get out of here.
And they wanted her to be their queen and like to marry her, and
That was
eventually
us, I think.
at the end
All right, get in the driver's seat. Get in the driver's seat.
Dipper had to like save her by like bleh, with
I'll
like
try it
a
again.
lawnmower, or no, not a lawnmower, a leaf blower, and he had to like suck them all up because they became like this giant
Damn.
like Godzilla gnome thing. So yeah,
This shit sound mad goofy.
that's Gravity Falls.
Now, what does the Grunkle have to do with the gnomes? That
Um,
should make no sense.
alright, this is gonna get a little crazy, alright, bruh.
Bro.
So, the Grunkle's name, his name is Stanford Pines, right?
Goofy ass cracker. Stanford
His name
Pines.
is Stanford Pines, right? And eventually, so near the end of the first season, no, second season, they're like their grandpa like a bunch of like stuff happens, like a bunch of like weird monsters and stuff before this is
Bro,
the
I'm telling
season
you, they
2,
nerfed
right?
this shit.
And they her grunkle, he like the FBI finds him, they take custody of him, right? And they're like move him, and they're like, there's no way our grandpa's like all this stuff, right? So they like escape and they go back to the house, and they're like looking at, and they see files saying Stanford Pines dies in car crash, right? And they're like,
Mm.
what? But how is that possible? They're like, maybe Grunkle Stam is like, he's a trickster, you know? And
I'm telling you, they've nerfed this shit, dude. I'm telling you, like, patched it or something.
yeah, and like after that, like they like find it out, and they're at like this portal thing in his basement, right behind the
The
vending
fuck?
machine. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, they trying to go to the nether?
Yeah, basically. So they turn it on. There's like this big emotional scene, and a dude walks out of it, and he looks exactly like Grunkle Stan. So let me paint a picture for you. So you
Okay.
have Stanley in it's New Jersey, right? Like
You're not a very good painter.
Flipping probably like 1742. Okay, they're old. I don't know. There's two brothers. Stanley and Stanford, right? One of them's really so Stanford is super smart, and Stanley is really
Not
dumb.
so
He's
smart.
yeah. I'm driving away. Bye.
Enemy combated. There's an enemy
Anyway,
combated. There's an enemy combated.
so they're talking and stuff, and yeah.
Carter,
So
wait, I
they
can catch you
grow.
in the car. Hold it. Just hold it. Just hold it. Just hold it. I'm coming. Drive.
All right. So I'm just gonna drive around while I explain. We aren't really trying. So,
I am. I'm sweating my balls off right now.
bruh. Basically, let's see, they're brothers, and okay. So Stanley, instead of Stanford being Grunkle Stan, Stanley is actually Grunkle Stan, right? So basically, they're in high school, right? And the really smart one, he's like doing this science fair project, and he's like, oh shoot, he's like, if oh shoot, and the school's like, look, you're really flipping smart, bro. They're like, if they see this thing, you're gonna go to this cool big college, and you're gonna be like Albert Einstein, you know? And the dude, Stanford, he's like, bet. So he does it, and like, Stanley is just like mad one day. He's walking around the exhibit like the day before the
I
thing.
think you can
and
put
he's
me down now.
Oh, okay. He's at his brother's project, right? He's like, oh, stupid project. He's eating chips and he like breaks the machine somehow, right? So the next day comes around, the machine is broken, and he doesn't get into the college, right? So the whole family gets really mad because, you know, they were in the slums, and that was gonna be their like tickets to be millionaires, right? They were gonna be super cool and super
They were gonna
rich, right?
So they were gonna
So
exploit their son's geniusness
yeah.
into making huge
Anyway.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Today's subject: slavery.
Anyway, so they do that, and they're like, Stanley, you poop face. Of course you ruined everything. So they kick him out. And Stanley becomes like a con man, right? Just skipping state to state. He essentially becomes, what's a good one? Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, right? He's Uncle Rico. He's literally just Uncle Rico.
Bro,
He's
I
skipping
remember that name,
states. He's banned from some states. He's skipping states and stuff, right? Running these cons, getting some money. One day he's in the slums, like, this dude calls him,
Money.
and his brother calls him over, right? Stanford. And he's like, hey, Bo, I need some help. So he has this partner, right? His name is, Fiddleford McGucket, right?
What?
His name, Fiddleford, okay?
Phineas and Ferb?
Basically, Fiddleford McGucket, right? Stanford has his partner. He's really smart. They're like making this machine in Gravity Falls, which is like this town, and it's like a really weird town. And they're like trying to figure this stuff out. They're like, why is it really weird? So Stanford, in his dreams, gets visited by this triangle. You've probably seen him before. This triangle dude wearing a top hat. His name is Bill Cipher, right? He's like this demon dude, and he's like, yo, I can help you with this. And like, in return, like, yeah. So
Oh yeah,
he
isn't
makes
he
a
like
deal
the
with him.
strongest dude in canon?
Probably, I don't know. He makes a deal with this dude, and he's like, yeah, so like he helps him like build the portal and everything to the secret realm, and then eventually Fiddleford, he like gets sucked into the portal, and his head gets sucked in, and he sees like this horrible thing. And we don't know what he saw, honestly. And he's like, bro, you gotta stop, okay? You're too deep. It's not that deep, right? And he's like talking about this, and he's like, bro, and he leaves. He leaves Stanford, right? And let's see, Stanford's like, oh my god, and like he figures something out, I think, with Bill. He's like, bro, you tricked me. I'm not getting, you know. You tricked me.
I know you tricked
Katie, are
me,
you
dude.
gay? Yes. Wait, no, you tricked me. Anyway, so he tricked him, and he's like, oh no, the portal is built, right? So he calls up Stanford. He calls
Bro, I
up
forgot my
Stanley, right?
no-scope then.
The con man guy, right? He has 3 journals. He's like, look, take this journal. They haven't seen each other in like 30 years, right? So Stanley shows up. He's like, what's up, my brother? And Stanford's like, here, take this journal, go bury it somewhere, and never come back. right? He's like, bruh,
Mm.
really? And they get into this fight. Stanley gets this like scar thing, and Stanford gets sucked into the portal, and we're back in present day where Stanford just came out of the portal. So apparently, after Stanford got sucked into the portal, oh no, oh shoot, after he
Terrible.
got sucked into the portal, right?
Mm.
Stanley, he was like, oh no, what do I do? So he takes the house, right? He like fakes his own death. Stanley Pines is dead. Now he is Stanford, right? So he took his name. So yeah, they get mad at each other. He never gets a thank you for rescuing him, like spending 30 years to try to get his brother back. And anyway, after that, uh
Couldn't he just like gotten in the portal and pulled bro out?
nah, cause it's like another dimension. He never find him. And it
Oh, so
it
it's like
shut
a
off. It
one-way
shut
portal.
off. Yeah,
Oh, so
after
it's
he
like a
went in, it
one-way
shut
portal.
off. Yeah.
Oh.
So that happened, and what happens next? They go, so they get some like unicorn hair or whatever, surround the like place they live in this magical barrier, so like they won't so that like they won't thingamajiggy, you know, they won't. Bill can't attack them, right? The Bill dude. So Bill is staging this like invasion thing, and he's gonna come and wait no he's gonna enter Gravity Falls and like take it over and stuff, right? Because
Mhm.
it's so goofy, it's so silly, it's so weird. So anyway, skip forward. Stanford has this like rift thing in a snow globe, right? It is literally a rift from Fortnite to the other dimension, and he has it, and he's like, look, if this breaks, it's done for. He's coming, you know. So he like goes and gets it, and then one day Mabel's like sad, doesn't really matter why, and she takes the thing accidentally, and this time traveler dude who you met earlier, he comes up to her, he's like, yo, listen, give me the thing, and I can fix all your problems. And she's like, okay, I bet. So she gives it to him, right? Right? But then it was actually Bill in disguise, right? So Bill, he breaks it. Armageddon is happening, right? Weird Mageddon. And yeah, so he locks up Mabel in this like dreamland place, and Armageddon happens, a bunch of stuff. They free Mabel, try to shoot Bill, they miss, it doesn't work. Uh, um, hmm, what else? Uh, shoot Bill, free Mabel.
Are you done
Oh,
painting a picture?
nope, it's a very large one. So they're in his like palace thing,
Just
right?
like your
They
own.
free most of the town, and they get locked up, right? And they're like, Bill's like, let me make a deal and like something to do something, right? I don't remember what. And and then, like chases, I have some children. I need to make it into corpses. That's something he says, and and then like uh, give me a second, working on it. Um. Oh yeah, and then he like Stanley. He's like look uh he's like look, I'll make a deal with you. Enter my brain. And Bill's like bet. So he enters his brain and he actually dressed up as Stanford, right? Because Bill wanted Stanford. So Stanley dressed up as Stanford, right? And he lets him into his mind, right? And then they use this memory erase gun that they got from another episode. They erase Stan's memory, and Bill is dead, right? And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Stanley lost all his memories for like 2 seconds, but that's pretty much Gravity Falls.
Can you re-explain that? The last part I remember was they went to their they went to their grunkle's house. That was the last part I remember.